Hello, and we're back for episode 3 of Strictly Cha Cha Chat. Once again, we're joined by Judge Andrew Pickup, and we'll be taking a look at the remaining 4 Strictly couples. We'll also be having a chat with the third judge, Caroline. Now, the first couple we'll be taking a look at today are Alex and Rachel. So let's see how they've been getting on.
Now, I was very, very impressed when I filmed these. These were actually filmed over a week ago. It was the end of week 2 when we filmed these.
And was this the first or?
In the last show we did announce that she'd swapped partners. Yep. And they'd been dancing together for less than a week at this point. They'd had 3 rehearsals, and Rachel had also gone to a couple of hours of ballroom lessons. So she'd done 5 hours this week, and I think you can tell.
You would have thought she'd be at a disadvantage, though, having swapped partners. However, she seems to be picking it up really well.
Yeah, she seems to have nailed down the quick steps very well, though, indeed. Great personality in it. She just needs to look into keeping that headline back and to not look at the floor, so she gets that beautiful top line.
Well, I think part of that is
very encouraging.
This was the rehearsal where they finished their routine, so some of that routine they hadn't actually done before. Yeah. But I think they are really a really strong contender.
Oh, definitely. I think they're right up at the top of ones to watch.
And although it's the thing that we've been commenting on is their technique and how impressive that is, being a quick step, it should be a pretty entertaining dance as well. Yeah,
I think perhaps there's slightly less onus on them having to engage the audience, because the speed and the kind of quick steps do engage the audience anyway, because they're fun and lively. So I think they're going to be very good on the night.
The other advantage that Rachel has, of course, being Music Society president, is the fact that this year there are 2 Music Society ensembles who are going to be there watching and presumably voting. I'm fairly sure, to be honest, that's the only reason I came second last year. But there will be, of course, we can presume a bit of a block vote there, which will make it interesting.
Potentially.
So now we've seen them, let's just take a look at what they think of their rehearsals and how they've been getting on.
I want to dance.
It's going really well with Rachel. She's picked everything up really quickly, especially me coming in a bit late. We've only had a couple of practices at the moment, and she's picked everything up perfectly. Couldn't have wished for a better partner. Bit of a cliche, but it's true.
I've done all right up till now. It's the light of day that shows me how. And when the night falls, my lonely heart calls.
Alex is an amazing teacher. I've discovered that I actually really enjoy ballroom dancing. It's clearly something I should have started more than last week. I think it's going well. Not as bad as I thought I would be, which is always a pleasant surprise. And yeah.
I've been in love and lost my senses.
I'm a bit worried that on the night I'll actually sort of just panic and forget everything, because I've never performed on my own, in a small group with just 2 of us before. Normally in a band of at least 20, so it's much easier to hide away. It's a lot more exposed, this, so.
I'm definitely most worried about me forgetting the routine, because if that happens, we're both a bit stuck. If Rachel forgets it, I might be able to flag it and get back at some point, but if I forget it, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Sometimes forget it already.
Are you enjoying it?
I am, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm enjoying rehearsals. How many times we rehearsed? This is our 3rd rehearsal this week, so clearly they're not that bad.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it because it's the first time I've ever had to choreograph anything. So it's a bit daunting, but exciting at the same time to be able to do whatever I wanted.
So last week we announced that the 3rd judge for this year's Strictly Come Dancing would be Caroline Jenkinson, who is a long-serving and dedicated member of the Looser Activities staff. Welcome to the show, Caroline.
Thank you very much.
How excited are you to be a judge?
I'm absolutely thrilled. So excited when Andrew asked if I would consider doing it, and I'm just so looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Now, do you know very much about ballroom dancing?
On the basis that when I was a young girl, I used to go to the village dances with my parents and danced all those sequence dances with the older generation of the village, but only as a child. So I do know what Viennese waltz and foxtrot and quick step and my favourite, the Gay Gordons, which isn't danced, is it? No, I do know. And then, of course, I've watched from the very, very start Strictly Come Dancing. So I could say, really, yes, I am an expert.
Oh, sorry, Andrew, it looks like there's no need for you this year then. So is there anything in particular you're going to be looking for?
I'm going to be looking for the passion that comes from the couples, the intensity that they put into the dance, and whether or not that their dance captures the audience and, of course, the judges within it all, so that it makes you think, oh, that's so good. So on occasions I'd like to be moved to the point of tears. I also appreciate having a good laugh, so there's that. But I also do look for things such. I will be looking for things such as the line. So I know that they have to have their head back and that they need to have their thumb right on the back when it's the gentleman, and just generally just thinking, well, yeah, actually that was good. But I do not claim to be an expert on technique or anything like that. So it is purely from the pleasure side of things. Basically what an audience would look for.
So will you be looking for more of a performance, would you say then?
Definitely, yes,
Okay.
the performance. And also their confidence and how calm they are when they're doing it. And if there are mistakes, and I'm sure there's going to be some mistakes, how well that they recover from those mistakes as well. But I'll be a kind judge.
Oh, that's nice. Andrew, are you going to be the harsh one then this year?
Oh, no.
Or are you leaving that to Emily?
I think Emily can play that part.
Well, it's interesting this year because we have three judges from very different backgrounds. We have yourself, who is a ballroom dancer, and we have yourself, who is looking for the performance side and much less experience of dance. And then we have Emily, who has a lot of experience of dance but different styles other than ballroom. And do you think that makes a really strong judging panel this year to do a really rounded commentary?
I would think so. I think it's... if you have all the judges looking for exactly the same thing, then I think it could become a little stale, but we all bring different things to the panel, and hopefully we could give some different perspectives.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Caroline.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you on the night,
Yes.
and we'll hopefully also see you on our live results show straight afterwards,
Oh,
so
you
can
will.
so we can hear your thoughts on the
Yes.
couples, and I'm sure it'll be a very enjoyable evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, our next couple for tonight is Sam and Chloe, and let's take a look at how they've been getting on in rehearsals.
The practices have been going okay so far. We're sort of getting there. We've had to change a few things. I always forget which foot's going to go first, but usually it's okay.
But I don't mind. Just wanna rock you, girl. I'll have whatever you have.
Sam's pretty great. An alright dancer. He knows the routine better than I do, so it's kind of a good thing, I guess. Yeah, rehearsals are alright. It's just finding the time for them, but other than that, it's pretty good. There's some technique in there somewhere.
You don't have to mention. Wanna play? It's me. Let me rock you to the break of day. It's me. I don't need no help. Just wanna rock you, girl. You can move, but be calm. Let's go, let's give it a whirl. See, it appears to me you like the way.
Yeah, really enjoying it. It's good.
It's alright. It's good fun.
It's fun, okay. On the night, my shoelaces will come undone. Like this one. What else will go wrong?
You'll drop me.
I drop the ukulele, I drop myself,
You'll fall over.
I fall over, and then you'll fall over.
I'll forget which foot we start on first.
Yeah, and then I'll kick you. And then
Yeah.
you'll kick me.
And then I'll kick you, yeah. I'll forget to spin it. Yeah.
I'll walk in the wrong direction.
pretty much lots of things could go wrong.
So that was Sam and Chloe in rehearsal. Let's just take a closer look now at how they've been getting on. I'm presuming it's Charleston. It looks like it to me. And I do know that they're going with props in this one. They're going to have a couple of ukuleles.
Oh, wow.
Yes. They seemed quite concerned, or certainly Sam did, that he was going to drop his. I don't know whether they can play. I think we should maybe fit little microphones to them on the night and find out.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
This is looking good. We've got some basic Charleston steps in there. I think they're still in the process of putting the routine together. They've just could do with a little bit more of a smoother transition between some of the steps, but some good solid Charleston steps in there.
Is this their first rehearsal then?
No, I think it might have been their first this term, but they have had a couple beforehand.
Oh, is this the ukuleles?
Yes.
Surely having a prop will bring more of a performance.
Yeah,
aspect
definitely. It could make the audience smile.
Yeah.
It just breaks it up
They
a bit
do
sometimes,
look like they're going to be out there with big grins on their faces because they are in fits of giggles all rehearsal. Quite
they almost look like a Blue Peter couple, don't they? They're always smiling and.
Yes, but the only thing that sort of surprises me is I know they're still learning and things, but I don't want to say effort, but the finesse on the arms and the legs and the sharp movements and things aren't there at the moment, and I think that is something that really, certainly Caroline and Emily are going to be looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Charleston demands less of those kind of finishes because it is very casual, fun dance. I would like to see a little bit more energy, particularly from Sam on this. The steps seem a little bit half-hearted, like a bit more power behind them. But I think at the moment they're quite probably just walking through the steps.
They are sort of pretty unique, the Charleston steps. It's very different from a lot of the other dancers. And does it lend itself to more of a character performance?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the one that will capture the audience's imagination because the steps are fun, they're quirky and engaging, and they're not going to be in hold. So this is purely performance, really.
Okay, now this week, Chris and I decided to take our dancing challenge to the next level. So, in order to show just how much of a difference the professional and the couple makes to the dancing, we decided to give a waltz a try. And Andrew here, very kindly and very patiently, decided to teach us. So let's see how it took shape.
This week, Andrew Pickup is going to teach us as a couple a waltz, and this will show us just how much of a difference the professional in the couple actually makes.
Watch out how big you take the steps, you're going to kill me. Oh, slide.
1, 2, 3. No, left foot first. 1.
No. Shall we jump the bullet and see what happens when we put you together?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how this is going to go.
Well,
Okay.
you know what we can work on then?
And just like that. No,
No,
just this
the
last
end.
bit because I
Right,
can't
And
get
then
it.
that one goes that
So
way.
this leg. 1, 2,
Once more.
back, side,
Side.
behind, forward on the front foot, on here.
Oh, heel.
Yeah. Side, close, side.
Oh, so we're going
So back on your
Get
right.
back to the beginning now.
left, 2, 3, right, 2, 3, left. I couldn't get this in yet.
You were here,
Oh.
and all you needed to do was back to the beginning. What we were
Oh,
trying
that
to do
one.
is
Okay.
back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Left,
Side.
2,
3, and now.
right, 2, 3.
Got it!
And
Yeah, wait. Okay. I wasn't ready. Okay.
This is Jess. There we are. Oh, that's beautiful.
so at the
One
end,
more time.
I just do,
Turn towards you.
so I do that.
You've got to go up with it.
Pretend she's a cake. So we're stirring the cake, and hello. Hello, my minions. There we are, and to the minions.
What's for?
That was
Yeah?
Whole thing?
Okay, are we starting over there?
If I were a painting captured on canvas, alone in the portrait I'd stand, in brushstrokes bold, yet soft as a whisper, the work of a feminine hand, caught in the still life, surrounded by shadows, and you wouldn't be breaking my heart.
Sorry.
The other way.
Sorry. We did it.
So Andrew, after having a look at the video, how would you say we did?
I think it was a really good effort. It's very difficult to go out of the comfort zone of having a partner who knows what they're doing, and the routine that we did was something that would be done after weeks and weeks. I very much threw you in at the deep end there, just for my own entertainment as much as anything else, but I think you picked up really well.
Now, the waltz, I think, has a bit of a bad reputation of being a little bit boring, especially in Strictly terms, because it isn't as audience friendly, shall we say.
Yeah.
And the steps aren't necessarily as difficult as in some, because they are repeated.
Yeah.
But the thing certainly that I found very difficult was the direction. Because you turn a different way on every single step, I found it incredibly disorientating to do it. And when you repeat the same pattern but along different sides of the room, I then found all your reference points have obviously changed.
Yeah.
So if you can't actually learn the directions by thinking, I'm going to face that corner, then that corner, you have to learn the turns, because otherwise you'll be in different places. And is that sort of disorientation something that people find difficult when picking up?
Absolutely. I mean, that's not something that people get over in the first few weeks, months, or even for some people years of practice. I mean, we all still, you learn a routine in a room, and it's very difficult to break that mould. My dad is a prime example of this. He ballroom dances, and he learned one of his routines and practiced it in the kitchen. And he went to the competition, and the first thing he did when he got there was, right, the sink's in that corner, the fridge is there, and the freezer's there. And he had to put his kitchen into the room before he could get on with the dance.
Well, I've just got images of him like sticking signs saying fridge and sink.
We did offer to make some signs and hold up like sink this way. But yeah.
Have you ever found you got disorientated in a competition?
What I find difficult sometimes is if you make a routine that fits in a room, it doesn't necessarily matter where you started, but I always think of having 4 sides of a routine to fit the room. And then you'll get somewhere like the Blackpool Winter Gardens, which has a really long side. And if you just did your routine, you'll be crossing over the floor halfway. So you need to double the length of that routine, and that causes a lot of people difficulty, particularly when I was younger.
I mean, I did think it was really impressive that you knew both parts to it, the female and male, so you must have the reference points for both parts.
Yeah, I mean, there is an element to which, with a certain degree of experience, you can reverse what you're doing. But my teacher always likes to push and challenge me. And often, if I'm doing something wrong, she'll say, well, you be the girl and see how it feels and how it comes across from your perspective, and then I know what to do with my steps in order to allow her to do her steps to the best of.
One thing I found a little bit sort of challenging was the fact that the girl actually has her head pointing in completely the wrong direction.
Yeah, you can't see at all where you're going.
Yeah.
So I had to know where I was going, which, as you've seen in the video, most of the time I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, the man can see where he's going, ploughs forward, usually straight into people, and the girl has her head facing the other way so she can apologise to the people you've just crashed into, I think is the logic of it. But yeah, it can be difficult. It does put some of the onus on the man leading, but that is what you're after with ballroom dancing. If you're both leading, you're just going to end up looking like you're having a fight.
Well, I think some of our routine there probably did
Well,
look like
yeah.
that. So, if you're going to enter your judge mode again,
Yeah.
who do you think coped better this week?
Well, I thought that you both picked up the steps very well. However, on the basis that you couldn't work out which way you were going this week, it's got to go to Jess
Fair enough.
for the orientation.
Congratulations.
1-1.
And the fact that I stepped on your toes probably once every 30 seconds or so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did like your comment, Andrew, of you keep dancing or I call an ambulance, there's nothing in between. It shows you take your dancing seriously.
Yes. We're not going to let you back out just for a mere standing on of a toe.
Well, now let's take a look at the next couple for this week. And also doing a waltz, we have Connie and Charlie.
Charlie is a special partner, I'm going to say. He is doing really, really well, and I won't do him any injustice by saying that he's not a good dancer. He is. We've had a few tantrums and a few storming out of the room, but all in all, he's doing really well, and the rehearsals are really fun, and I really enjoy them.
Rehearsals have been great. Connie is patient, she's great, she's really kind. She goes through the steps in it. I didn't understand this, but female dancers dance male steps to show you that. And that was really, she was like ambidanstress, we call it. So she was like walking it through with me, then being herself and doing it. So it's really, yeah, she's been really good. And I don't know whether I'm good enough to be a winner, but she definitely is.
As is tradition with our joint interviews, I'm currently sat here on my own.
Wait! What did I miss? You haven't started yet, have you? Right. What was the question?
I'm enjoying rehearsals. What could go wrong on the night?
What could go wrong on the night? What time's the show?
7:30.
7:30. Right, I'm going to put an alarm in my phone for 20 past, just to be on the safe side.
I think that basically tells you what could go wrong on the night. Now, you may have noticed a video going around Facebook where Charlie didn't actually turn up to rehearsals. However, they have managed to have 4 or 5 of them. So let's see how they've been getting on.
Now, the thing I found actually quite difficult about filming this one is they do basically take up the entire room, and there is an awful lot of movement in this routine. But again, with ballroom dancing, one of the things that is always commented on is keeping small steps. So how difficult is it actually to keep moving so fast with these small steps?
Oh, it's extremely difficult. It looks like he's going to be doing a Viennese waltz here, which is even faster. Extremely courageous dance to be doing. Many very experienced dancers still get nervous when they're doing a Viennese waltz. So I've got a lot of respect for them giving this a go.
There is a look of concentration on his face.
Yeah.
He does seem quite determined to get it right.
But it is looking very good. Some reverse turns there after the natural ones. It looks like they've got all the Viennese waltz steps in there.
There is a bit of a story to this. They are doing.
Right.
The music's actually 2 minutes long, and they're doing at the beginning. They're doing a bit of a story to it. It's to Mr. Bojangles is the tune. So he'll be coming out having whistling and then doing something like this at the beginning.
Doing a waltz, is there a risk that Connie could look like she's leading?
There is a risk, but I think Connie's experienced enough to allow Charlie that space to lead, even if it's not quite as forcefully as might be expected with a more experienced dancer. But the great thing about Charlie is that he's a real performer and a real character, and I think he'll deliver on the day.
I don't think there's any danger of the getting too much focus on the technique. I'm sure the technique will be good, but with Charlie, there is always going to be the performance aspect.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I don't think Tom and Amber were particularly happy in this rehearsal because, as you can see, they were just going.
And I think it's a great bit of music to dance to as well. The great story to it.
The thing you said earlier about the guy just ploughing into people was particularly true in this rehearsal, where there were two couples in the same room.
It looked for a minute there that they were going to do a fleckle. The fleckle is the hardest of the Viennese waltz steps. If they manage to do a fleckle and pull it off, I will be so impressed if they do the right feet for it. So that would be the way to get a very high mark from me if they manage to do that properly.
And then if they keep their lines and everything straight, it will impress the other judges as well. So a potential threat there.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
As the name implies, every year the Charity Showcase raises money for a charity, and the charity is Cancer Research UK. Andrew, we mentioned this a bit in our first show, but the charity fundraising aspect of it, how much is that important to the event?
It's really important for two reasons, really. I mean, firstly, about getting the people there. It creates an atmosphere and people feel like they're going having a great evening, they're raising money for charity. It ticks all the boxes in that regard. But also for motivating people to get involved, for getting all these societies, for getting the dancers, and when you're in the last few weeks of rehearsals and you say, oh, I don't want to spend another evening in rehearsals, think, we're doing this to raise a load of money for charity, and that really does motivate people.
It's a fairly serious amount of money it's raised as well, isn't it? Last year there was over £2,000 raised.
Yeah.
And given that the event's been going for 10 years now, at least, that's a serious amount of money.
It's a good amount of money. I mean, last year was around 2,200. The year before was over 2,000 as well. So it has been growing. So over the roll, I'd like to know what the total was. I'm sure Cancer Research will have that information somewhere.
Yes, and to be honest, it's actually now becoming limited by the amount of people you can cram through the doors, because certainly last year was a sellout.
Yeah, I mean, every year we have a bit of a game on the day. How many seats can we fit in the Great Hall? And last year we arranged them in a way that we said we've met absolute capacity, we can't put another chair in. And then we had people outside and we found room for a few more chairs. So I don't know what the situation is going to be this year, but I hope that it's a sellout again.
I think the lesson there is going to be get your tickets booked early, and they are available. The link will be on our Facebook page alongside this video. And
selling them in the square on Tuesday.
Yes, on Tuesday, so that'll be tomorrow. So really, just make sure you get your tickets in early. This is going to be a really good event. Yeah. And if you can't make it, don't worry, you won't miss out on all of the fun, because we will be doing a live results show straight after it finishes, probably around 9:45. Yep. The timing's always a little bit interesting with the Charity Showcase, because there are so many groups and there are so many dancers who need to get changed and that sort of thing. We can never really predict when it finishes, can we?
No, I mean, we usually go to the nearest 10 or 15 minutes. And give or take another 10 or 15 minutes.
The President's speech is another one where we can take bets on how long it lasts as well, isn't it?
I don't think Joe will be giving us too much of a monologue this year, so I wouldn't worry about that.
But no, we'll be live on our website, and the links will be on our Facebook page as well. We'll have the couples, and we will have the judges there to discuss the Strictly aspects of the event. We might even show a few of the non-Strictly dancing and music features, and we will certainly be taking a look at the Strictly performances, especially the winners, to see how they did.
Now, the fourth and final couple we'll be taking a look at today are Tom and Amber, who had a fairly rocky start to rehearsals. So let's see how they've been getting on.
If you wanna dance, this is our chance. If you wanna dance, let's take our chance.
Tom's doing really well. He's a great partner. He's a bit sort of unsure at first, but he works really hard at it, and he's picking up steps really, really quickly. We've only had one, maybe two now rehearsals, quite short, and he's doing really, really well. So yeah, we've had a lot less rehearsals than everyone else, but it's going fine. I think we're going to be ready.
Amber's really great. She's very patient, which is pretty important because it's sometimes take a while to get used to the moves, and yeah, I think it's just going really well. I think we're doing all right considering we've only had 2 rehearsals. We've learned quite a lot in 2 rehearsals, so I think it's just practicing what we already know and kind of getting that kind of down, and there's a few tricky ones, but hopefully on the night it'll go well. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's going well. We've only had 2 rehearsals, but I think give it some time and it'll get a lot better.
Yeah, and we're working on a complicated lift, so watch out for that one.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
What are you most worried about?
I think probably not getting certain bits right, especially things like the lift.
Yeah.
Because if that doesn't go well, then I mean, it's just not going to look great. But apart from that, I'm just kind of ready to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
I'm not really too bothered. Like, it doesn't really worry me that much.
I think it's timing mostly.
Yeah.
And then, but if we get that, then we'll
We'll be
get through the whole
fine.
thing.
Now, Amber has been out of action and ill for a little while, so this was their first rehearsal. So let's see how they did.
Now, they're obviously doing a Latin.
Yeah, it's a cha-cha-cha, this.
And there does seem to be quite a lot of energy going into it, which could be a good performance.
Yeah, and there's lots of basic cha-cha steps. I've got high hopes for Amber's choreography. I think with being team captain and doing a lot of the choreography, there's that extra little bit of pressure for her. I'm sure she won't appreciate me saying that.
Especially starting late, they really have to catch up, don't they?
Yeah, but I think that if there was any couple that could play catch up, then I think Tom and Amber
Well, I know
are the ones to do
they
it.
had 3 rehearsals this last week, so they are really sort of trying to catch up. And although I know you said there's lots of basic child, but you've just seen there's a few
maybe I spoke too
non-ballroom moves in there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think you've got to have a mixture, haven't you? I think that they've both got great personalities to perform as well. So I think this could be one to watch as well.
Tom is used to, of course, performing on stage with theatre group and other
Yeah.
things, and he is a natural performer.
Mhm.
So I think the personality should suit him for this one.
It looks like quite a light dance. It won't be too serious. Something that the public can quite
Yeah,
enjoy
I mean,
watching.
the cha is, again, it's fun, it's just lively and enjoyable. This should get the crowd excited. I'm trying to guess what the music is from these steps. I'm guessing maybe it's the Macarena, but I'm not sure.
No, it's not.
Is it not the
I
Macarena?
did hear it at rehearsal, but I actually can't remember what it's actually called. It's certainly not what you would call some traditional Latin music.
No. Well, that's fine.
It's probably more likely to be heard in Hustle than in the Winter Gardens, I would say. But it does look like they're getting through it, considering this was their first rehearsal.
Yeah, I mean, he's picking up the routine exceptionally quickly if this was their first rehearsal.
I do think they will be a threat to some of the others.
Definitely. I mean, I think the biggest pressure facing these guys is not the technique and not the performance, because I think it's just going to be getting it done in time, just putting those hours in to make sure that it's rehearsed and polished for the day.
It'll be very good, but whether they've actually learnt it all is going to be
and then remember it.
Yes, of course.
You can hope that the entertainment value would override that, though.
Yeah, I think they'll get it done, and they're both performers. They'll be fine.
Now, last week we said we would be announcing details of the exciting collaboration that is going to open this year's charity showcase. Last year, of course, you had the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang routine that you worked out with Matthew Bosley and a few other members of theatre group, and it was a nice opening. It was a little bit different from the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Do you think something like that adds something really good as an opener?
I think so. You mean you need something that's just going to grab the audience's attention. The challenge that faces people is that year on year, you put in a whole new programme together. You don't want something that's been done recently. So it's keeping it fresh and keeping it moving forward. And I think collaborations between the performing groups makes the most of everybody's talents and skills.
Now, whereas last year you went for a more acting opening with Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. This year we've gone with music, and the collaboration is going to involve the University of Lancaster Music Society Wind Band performing a medley of the soundtrack from Hairspray, which the Ballroom Dancing Society and the Dance Society will be dancing to. Now, dancing with live music is always a little bit more interesting because there is an added element that can go wrong.
Yeah.
And it actually has gone wrong in the past in the showcase.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it doesn't this year because it will be very embarrassing for me as I conduct the wind band if I start at the wrong tempo or something. So hopefully it won't. But is it more exciting for dancers and a bit more of a challenge working with a live band?
I think so, yeah. I mean, there is... Every dancer will tell you that dancing to a live band is the dream. That is what people want to do. And when there is that rare competition where there is live music, then it adds a whole new dimension to it. I actually think the most pressure in that act will probably be on yourself. I mean, it's not only keeping the music together, but keeping the speed appropriate for the dancers is the crucial bit there.
Some of my band do actually say that I tend to speed up a bit in performance, in concert. And there are certainly I think the second concert I ever did, I did speed up quite dramatically. It was brilliant because we'd been rehearsing it, we'd been playing it a bit under speed, and I was actually astounded by how quick they actually got through it. But I mustn't try to avoid that with dancers, obviously.
I think you mentioned about it falling down before. I think the potential was all there, but the dancers hadn't had a great deal of practice with the band, and I think that's where that came a cropper.
But I do think that if it all goes to plan, it would be exceptionally great for the audience to watch that.
Yeah, it should be really good, and we're actually putting it together for the first time tomorrow. I've not actually seen either at the Ballroom Dancing or the Dance Society bits for it, so I'm very excited, and we'll be running it again on the day as a rehearsal. But
yeah, I haven't seen any of the 3 bits, so this is. I'm going to leave it till the day, be pleasantly surprised by it.
Well, hopefully it will be a pleasant surprise and a very good opener to the show. But unfortunately, that is the ending of this episode of Strictly Chat Chat Chat. Once again, a big thank you to Andrew for coming and educating us in the world of ballroom dancing, and to Caroline for coming and joining us for a quick chat as well. We look forward to seeing as many of you as possible at the showcase on Friday, and if you can't join us there, please do join us for the live after show straight afterwards, about 9:45 on Friday evening. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.